What's up guys, Spin Firearms here, and if you've ever seen this channel before, you know we always do this video over here. It's a size comparison. Today we're going to be comparing the Kimber Mako R7 to many popular options, unpopular options, single stacks, whatever the case may be. I do these videos simply to help people see size comparisons. Yes, there's websites and apps and that whole sort of thing, but sometimes you actually have to see the shapes, the contours, the texturing, the beaver tails, that whole sort of thing to actually get a good feel for a size comparison, right? And not a lot of ranges will let you go around and say, hey, I have my Kimber, or can I see that Kimber? Okay, now I want to see the GX4. Now I want to see the Ruger Max 9. Now I want to see the Shield Plus. Now I want to see, they're just going to get annoyed, right? So that is why I do these videos over here. On top of that, I always say before we get started, hit the like button, drop a comment down below, and subscribe. People say you need to earn all that stuff, which I agree, but they keep telling me not to say it during the video. The reason why I do that is just support firearm channels in general. If you're Pro 2A, doesn't matter what the content actually is or if you like it or not, just support it. Firearm YouTubers make the least amount of money out of any other YouTubers out there, so, you know, don't be a hater. Just hit the like button, subscribe, and drop a comment down below. Not a big deal. It takes 2 seconds, and it's free. Anyways, Kimber Mako R7. Kimber, spotty quality control, spotty firearm design, stuff like that. But honestly, from you guys, from other channels, everything seems to be pretty good with this handgun now that they've worked the problems out. For me, the ergonomics are on point. It's a very similar size handgun and width to a lot of my favorite firearms, so I'm very excited to test this thing, put a lot of rounds through it this weekend, and compare it. Anyway, Stoeger STR9 Micro Compact versus the 13+1 setup. So 11+1 versus 13+1. That is Stoeger's Micro 9 offering. As you can see, they're about even because this is 11+1 flush. That's why I'm using the larger mag, because you can see that with that flush mag from Kimber, it's 11+1. Well, I guess it sticks out a little bit with the other mag. But as you can see, very similar in size. Next up, we'll do the Mossberg MC2SC, one of my favorite handguns to carry, and shout out to one of the subscribers that made the holster and sent it to me. I carry it with it every time I carry. 11+1 versus 11+1. Oop, wrong handgun, guys. I always do that in these videos. Anyways, 11+1 on the left versus 13+1 on the right. The Kimber Mako will beat this in terms of capacity just by a little bit, not a big deal. There's length and width. Okay. Springfield Army Hellcat, my favorite Micro 9. That's going to be 11+1 with the flush mag versus 13+1 for the Kimber Mako R7. So pretty even when it comes down to length. I think the Kimber's a little bit wider and obviously a little bit longer. Glock 19, one of my home defense pistols. It's just bone stock, just new sights and a light and grips. That's it. Awesome handgun. 15+1 on the right, 13+1 on the left, but obviously it's much skinnier, shorter, easier to carry, that whole sort of thing. IWI Masada 9 Slim, 13+1 versus 13+1 on the left. It's about even with the Masada Slim. Pretty nice. Obviously, though, the Masada Slim has a thicker slide, as it does compared to most Micro 9s. Next up, we'll do one of the sleepers of the year, the P10M, and this is a Vetter holster with an Alta-Clip, a 3M or 3+, whatever they call the Alta-Clip. 7+1 on the right, 13+1 on the left. And yes, that's a terrible grip job. It actually ripped recently, but I did order new grips for it. Comparable, but obviously the CZ is going to be half the capacity and half the price. What would these videos be if we didn't throw a dumb comparison in there? So we got my stupid Beretta Pico versus the Kimber Mako R7. That's 13+1 and 9mm on the left, and 6+1 a 380 on the right. And say goodbye to that Pico. All right, Shield Plus. This does have mag guts, so it's 13+1. But I just don't like the mag guts kit for the Shield Plus anymore. It sort of moves around a little bit. Very comparable, but you have to pay for the extra kit for the Shield Plus 13+1 setup. Otherwise, it definitely loses to the Kimber. 12+1 on the right in the SIG P365 versus 13+1 on the left. Very comparable. Glock 43, shout out to Daniel Hegg, 7+1 versus 13+1. I mean, that's just unreal what technology does. Absolutely awesome. That's Glock 43. Smith & Wesson M&P 9 Subcompact 2.0. This is 12+1, but with the flush mag, it's also 12+1. This just has a little pinky extension on it. So, the Subcompact definitely beats the Kimber, but it's also much thicker. I mean, look at the thickness. Holy crap. That was a cool comparison. Alright, the Stoeger STR9 Subcompact. 10 plus 1 on the right, 13 plus 1 on the left. Pretty comparable, but obviously the subcompact is thicker, wider, heavier. Next up, let's do Ruger Max 9, and I have it in a Vetter. I believe that's a Pro Tuck holster. Not 100% sure though, it just does its job. Ruger Max 9 on the right, 12 plus 1. Or sorry, 10 plus 1 with that mag. Sorry, 10 plus 1 on the right, 13 plus 1 on the left. Obviously, the Mako beats that. Now, also keep in mind, look at the sights. The sights on the Mako are about as good as they get coming from the factory. It's a U-notch rear with 2 tritium, white outline, and then tritium, orange outline sights. Actually, really nice. But the Ruger Max 9 actually has a really nice sight picture, too. That tritium, high-vis front sight, fiber optic. Really like it. All right, Springfield Armory XD, the Croatian pistol. Whatever, guys, 100% reliable. 13 plus 1 on the right versus 13 plus 1 on the left. Now, that's pretty cool because of the same length, but look at the width. Absolutely unbelievable. One of my most reliable pistols. Love the XD9 subcompact. Let's go Glock 29. This setup right here is 10 plus 1, I believe, of 10 millimeter, obviously. So just another dumb comparison. So look at that, 13 plus 1, so 14 and 9 on the left, 11, I believe, of 10 millimeter on the right. Look at the width. Actually really cool, too, that ejection port being only in the side because it's a different action compared to all these other handguns that you see on the table. So that's why they can get away with this and still have it be reliable. Actually, pretty cool design. FN Reflex, 15 plus 1 on the right versus 13 plus 1 on the left. So pretty comparable to FN. I mean, look at where the frame ends on both of them. And those are about both 11 rounds with the flush mag. Taurus GX4, 11 plus 1 setup in a Vetter holster inside the waistband. Nothing special. I just love that holster. Simple. 11 plus 1 on the right, 13 plus 1 on the left. Let's see what would win. The Mako beats it by a little bit, but very similar handguns in overall footprint, width, size. Both feel really good in the hand. The Kimber texturing is just on point, but I like the GX4 ergonomics. I really do. All right, M&P 40C, 10 plus 1 of 40 versus 13 plus 1 of 9 millimeter on your left. Look how wide the M&P series is, but that's why it shoots so flat. Unbelievable. There's length, overall footprint. See, the overall footprint is not very different from a lot of these subcompacts. Like you're going to see this right here, Glock 28. Consider this your Glock 26 as well, 10 plus 1, same exact size. So 10 plus 1 versus 13 plus 1, but this is much wider, obviously, but very similar footprint. I mean, look at these. Basically the same footprint. One of the best values on the table, P10S from CZ. Love this thing. 12 plus 1 on the right, 13 plus 1 on the left. I would say they're completely comparable when it comes to capacity, but obviously CZ's wider, thicker, a little bit heavier. That tends to be the theme when comparing it to the subcompacts. Taurus G3C, 12 plus 1 versus the Mako R7, 13 plus 1 on the left. So it beats the G3C and very comparable in width, just a little thinner, I feel like. Very comparable in length. Very comparable in overall footprint, so pretty cool. Let's go Ruger SR9C, because I stand by this handgun right here and love it. 10 plus 1 on the right versus 13 plus 1 on the left. Does beat the Ruger, even though the Ruger's wider, longer, overall larger footprint. But still, very comparable. Here we have a Walther PPS M2 in a Blacksmith Tactical beltless IWB holster. It's going to be 6 plus 1 in the Walther versus 13 plus 1 with the Mako. Now that's, I love this handgun right here, and look at how comparable in size and everything, but you get so many more rounds. So people always get on me about single stacks, but sometimes you just truly enjoy a handgun, like a handgun, and have tested over the years where it's proven itself to you and proven itself with reliability. So I'd rather have 6 plus 1 of something that goes bang every time compared to something that's newer or I haven't tested as much. But, all these are great guns. You can't go wrong with anything I just put on the table. So Smith & Wesson CSX, 12 plus 1 at 9 millimeter versus 13 plus 1 on the left with that Kimber Mako R7. The CSX beats a lot of things when it comes to capacity, and it's super slapped on. Much smaller than it. Look at it. Pretty cool. Last two, Canik Meta MC9. These handguns I feel like are identical in size. I mean, they are really close in overall slide height, all sorts of things. They are dang near identical. So 12 plus 1 on the right, 13 plus 1 on the left. Dang near the same with capacity, width. I mean, identical footprints. And that's why I'm not surprised that they both feel really good. Awesome handguns. Last but not least, Glock 43X, and I would only consider this gun 10+1 regardless of the mags, simply because you should only be running OEM mags for everyday carry, and I don't carry this 43X. 13+1 on the left versus 10+1 on the right. Awesome. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Lots more to come. We will be putting this through its round and its testing because I actually feel like I want to carry this handgun. Its size is just perfect for me. It really is just perfect for me. I get 2.5 fingers on that 13+1 setup and feels good. Thanks for watching.